As promised, the van conversion's back, and I'm going to jump straight in and show you how I made this awesome sliding bed design. I think it ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to how effectively it uses the space and how small it folds up again. If you think you'd be interested in some plans, then let me know. I can probably put something together. There are going to be a whole bunch more of these videos over the next couple of months, so if you don't want to miss out, please subscribe and click the bell icon, then you'll get notified when I upload. Also consider giving the video a like, it really helps. The bed build actually began in September 23. There's not much to say here other than I cut up some plywood and made a large wonky box which sat in my van for 6 months doing nothing. The problem with the design currently is that this panel sags in the middle, meaning that as it closes, unless you close it with force, it catches on the end. So to remedy that, I'm going to install a panel, like a support piece, that will come all the way along here, because this problem will only get worse once I've cut the fingers into this panel that will represent the bed slats. But there's two problems with the current design, I think. One is that at 15 millimeters thick over this distance, that's when it starts to sag. And that's when you get problems like this. So I want the support piece to be 18 mil thick. But also I don't want to put it inside of here, cut it to length and just pocket hole it in. I think it will be much stronger if this piece will sit on top of all of these, making it stronger. After adding in those support pieces, I found that the base had parallelogrammed itself, effectively twisted out of square. So I've cut a piece of 18 mil ply that is perfectly square. I've trimmed 18 mil off of the height of the whole box. And now I'm going to fix this on and I'll be able to show you how badly it was parallelogramming. You can see how the box below is twisted out of shape. So it's sticking out this side and sticking in on this side. So by attaching it to this base, I'm pulling it all square again. Okay, so we've got this perfectly square to here on this corner. So I'll drill my pilot hole 7.5 mil in from each edge so that we hit the center of the ply. And then we'll screw that one down. This final corner should be perfectly square. Yes, yes it is. Perfect. All right, so I've got this all squared up now and I've put the support pieces back on. And the next thing to do is to attach these heavy duty drawer runners. And the best way to do that, I think, is to attach some temporary fixings on the top on each end and on the end that I want the runners to be flush with. So that would be the front, I guess. And this will allow me to position the runner. Now, annoyingly, with the heavy duty slides, you can't separate them like you can regular drawer slides. The regular ones work by pushing a lever and then separating the two parts so you can assemble each individually. It gets a bit complicated with the heavy duty ones and you've got to think ahead in order to get it right. So here, the problem it causes is that I get it into position and then I want to slide this out the way to access the holes to mount it onto the base, but I can't because my piece is attached here. So what I'm going to do is take this one off again. Let's knock these through, because when that's closed, that's all lined up. So I just want it to stop the stationary part. Perfect. So now I can access all of the fixing points. Lovely. This is where I've had it attached previously with screws. I think what I'm going to do is just ignore that. Although it looks pretty central, I don't know how straight the hole is. So I'm going to use probably 2 of them actually, because I want it to be really sturdy. It is going to be a double bed. Okay, so first I want to find the center. Oh, we need to move you. You're in the way of the drill. So I've actually had to forgo the washer on the top, because if I pop the washer down and then the bolt, it raises the bolt up just high enough to catch, and that prevents it from closing. So I think we'll be fine with just the bolt there. So pop that in, and then underneath I use a penny washer. Go on, stay. Yes. A split ring, and then the nut. Spanner under here and tighten it up with the impact driver from the top. I've also decided to cut a new top for the bit that slides out, because I also found that that wasn't quite square, which was contributing to the unevenness of the sliders. So I need to create this pattern. Okay. There we go. Right, that's great. Now I need to make some sides and a front, attach them, and then I can start thinking about fixing this onto the other half of the runners. Okay, great. I'm now having a go at attaching the 2 parts of the end bed together. And I've gone for giving it 2 mil of clearance all around to help it run smoothly. So now I'm going to do the same as what I did here and fix some bolts in. So you can see here, I've just marked the center point for that hole, but I'm not going to drill straight through at 6 mil, because I'd like for it to be recessed on the outside. So I'm going to drill through with a small bit. Then from this side I can countersink and then drill through at 6 mil. Right, so now I'll pop in my bolt straight through. Then I've got a washer, and remember this will be, eventually this will just be a washer and a lock nut. But for the moment it's washer, sprung washer, and a nut. Tighten that by hand, and then I can nip it up. I'll do that again on the other side and in 2 more places at the other end, and then I'm ready to test. I've switched everything out to stainless now, and I've got all of the ones in for this half of the unit as well. So I'll remove my spacers. Before I flip it over, I'm just going to get an idea of how well it's worked. Pretty good, seems. There's a tiny bit of play on one end, but nothing like it was before. That seems very good, very promising so far. Let's flip it over. The next step is to install the slats in the gaps. I can't use these unfortunately because they're just not quite long enough, I don't think. I'll try it out though. So basically these will sit here. They might work. Maybe it doesn't matter if they're slightly shorter. You're not going to see it. I think I will use these. And then I can even match up the grain pattern. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So basically these will sit on here. I guess I'll want to pack them out underneath by 2mm, because this is packed out by 2mm as well. But effectively, it'll be like that. And then when the bed pulls out, you have it like this. And then this is sort of 2/3 of your bed. Heads up this end, feet down here. It will join up with the other part of the bed. I've got all of these slats cut and pilot holed, and now I'm just fitting them in. So I want them flush with the front of the base unit, and then I need to space them evenly, and that comes to 2.5mm either side. I still need to pack each slat out by 2mm underneath. My idea is, if I fix them in place first, but don't drive the screws all the way, then I can remove these spacers because this is held in place, and then that allows me to slide back the drawer and then slot them underneath like so. Now I can back the screws off a bit like that. Then I can slide two of these under. Now I can drive these in. Yep. Let's have a recap and look at what I've done and what's coming up. The main portion of the bed is in, and it works pretty well, to be honest. This pulls out, it's supported by this leg, and then you've got all of the slats fixed in. The next thing I want to do is modify the front third of the bed. Originally, I was planning on having this probably over-engineered system whereby this would pull flat and there would be another piece here hinged in the opposite direction, so that when this comes back, it comes up and forms a seat. But to be honest, I found you also gain about 12 inches extra space in the back by doing it this way. I'm sat here leaning against the back of the passenger seat, and if I was using the old system, I'd be sat here with this here, and that's a massive difference actually, and it's way more comfortable. Okay, so I'll begin by just removing this top. Before I start adding the slats like down the other end, I need to fix a couple things. Primarily, I need to modify the height that these drawers sit at so that they come to exactly the same height as the frame. It may have taken me the best part of an afternoon, but I have now got these ready for adding the fingers to. Had a slight change of plan because I realised two things. Firstly, the overall width is not the width of the drawer, it's the width from the edge of the unit to the middle. Secondly, with only 5 runners, there needs to be an odd number like this in order for one of the parts to have a finger on each end. And with only 5 fingers, the gap between is now too big. So by going with 7 fingers rather than 5 and a width of 80, you then get an 8mm gap between each. At this point, my phone suddenly decided to stop recording audio, so I'll just talk you through very quickly what I'm doing here. The piece of plywood has been pre-marked with 6 lines that I need to cut along up until the point nearest my hands. These will form the basis of the fingers. The downside of using the table saw here instead of a track saw is that for every new cut you make, you remove more material from the piece, and that makes
subsequent cuts less accurate. The way around this is by putting 2 M5 penny washers in the gap created after each cut.
Next, I drilled some holes to make access for a jigsaw blade so that I could remove the material to complete the fingers. The process for attaching them was very similar to what I did for the larger part of the bed. All right, the bed's finally in a state that I can show you how it's actually meant to work. So, it's incredibly simple. You pull out one end all the way, and then you pull out each drawer. Done. The bed is even long enough to take my 6'2" frame and to spread out. I can't rest though, I got too much vanning to do. There is more work to be done on the bed, but that can wait a few episodes. There's other more pressing matters. I need to insulate the walls, build more of these cupboards. I need to put carpet on the areas where there won't be cupboards. I need to install an electrical area in here. I need to install a pull-out kitchen here. I need to put solar on the roof and probably a whole load of other things too that I haven't thought of. If you want to catch these videos as soon as they come out, make sure you're subscribed below and click the bell icon so you get those notifications. Consider giving a thumbs up for the video, and I'll see you in the next one.